The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, and we talk to the CEOs, the CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and you can also see us on YouTube. And this is my friend Steve Roberts is with me because you know his name, unlike some political figures who have been, waddling in obscurity for years, and now all of a sudden they're the greatest.
I don't know what you're going to say, Tom. I am unaware.
Everybody knows Steve Roberts. I think they know you more than Kamala, don't they?
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Do you really have to start the show that way?
Where did she come from? I'm like, is she the vice president? Who is she?
Don't even start with me.
And how is it that she's beating Trump in the polls already, and she's only been campaigning for a week?
Look at the right polls.
Oh my gosh!
It'll be fine.
That is
once
crazy.
Anybody hears her speak, things will be fine.
And
Tom.
Laugh. Well, Steve, all I can say is you're weird.
Yes,
just weird.
I am weird.
That's the new thing.
I am weird.
You're just weird.
So how's your summer treating you? You gonna be all
good?
right?
Yes, I'll be just fine. Now that Jerome has made me take down my bird feeders, I have no birds to look at.
Your squirrel feeders?
My squirrel feeders.
You
took that picture in my backyard and said this is a squirrel feeder. Yeah. No birds are coming to it, so what the heck?
I used to like the squirrels. I know that they create
they're
problems.
pretty. Like I say, I got a family of about 6 babies, and they're really cute until they eat everything in sight and poop all over the place. Anyway, just like having kids of my own.
I was going to say, reminds me of Nicholas.
Well, we have a wonderful show all pegged out for you, folks. So hopefully you'll stick around for the entire 2 hours. Joe Silvani is coming up first, and we'll talk to him. He's the COO, and a missionary for Coram Deo Ministries. And then Liz Crisanda is the territory executive for the ALS Association. Mike Intaglietta is the executive director of the Landmark Theater. Joe Bolignone, founder of Mission Syracuse. He'll come by and light up the room, I'm sure. And then Sean Patney, the owner of Preferred Powersports. We'll talk about his inventory and what they do over there at Preferred Power. And then George Powers, no relation, of course, is coming on to talk about Powers Accounting. And then Rick Rarick is the board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm. They're all part of Onondaga Grown over there. And then Aaron Look is the owner of Glass Doctor of Syracuse. So that's all the people that are coming on the show today. And we open the show with Joe Silvani. How you doing there, buddy?
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much. And it's good to have you back on.
Thanks for having me.
Explain to everybody what Coram Deo Ministry is.
So it's a nonprofit. It's a local nonprofit here in Liverpool. And the design behind it is I lead people overseas to help find a need. And then I come back to the States and say, okay, here's the need. I share that with local people, and they jump on board, and we go and serve overseas and help whatever the project is.
I see. So, and why overseas? Why not domestic?
It is actually domestic and overseas. Okay. It's just lately a lot of the needs are overseas, but yeah, we're locally. So I'm taking 100 people from Liverpool in October to New York City, and we're going to serve the homeless right in the New York City area.
You're going through NYSUM or somewhere else?
Yes, NYSUM. We're serving with NYSUM.
What's NYSUM?
The New York School of Urban Ministry, which is an amazing organization
yes.
that people from zillions of different churches and Christian organizations go, and they serve the homeless population and really love on them, give them food and
clothing, shelter.
Been there, done that a few times.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a collection of different Christian organizations all together that come to your organization?
Yeah, so we're kind of we facilitate, like if a smaller church doesn't have the access or the means or the logistics to be able to bring it, I will do it all, from flights to transportation to everything.
So here's a guy who doesn't mind flying.
Not at all.
Yeah. So, I'm so
Not at all.
Now, you
afraid of that.
you had me at Nyson with Peter. I don't know if Peter's still running the show down there, but the Peter DeRubita was the.
He's one of the gentlemen that we've connected with.
Yeah,
so.
it's an amazing organization.
It is.
And what people get to do is maybe take their eyes off themselves for a few days,
Right,
and look at it from another
Right.
perspective. Because I don't know, we're Americans. We wait 3 minutes in line at Dunkin' Donuts. We have a seizure because my coffee wasn't ready.
Right, exactly.
Sure.
It's a little different when you put yourself in other people's spaces.
Nice.
And that's the desire.
So how do you raise money for this organization?
So it's all by the ask. We have a golf tournament coming up, which is going to be a huge help to raise some money for some of these projects. So there's a lot of.
I'm not a golfer.
Okay.
Steve is. But talk to me as if I don't know anything about golf. And how do these golf tournaments work and how it can benefit the organization?
Sure. So if you can't swing a club or don't want to swing a club, there are a lot of ways to be able to sponsor the event. So, local businesses are providing a monetary donation, and we'll put up a local business sign for them on the course. Gotcha. So as people are going through and playing, they'll see the recognition of their business. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to be able to kind of sponsor an event like this, but not actually be on the course and swing.
So you can have a team.
So you have a foursome when you go to the team. And just to be clear, it's a fundraiser. So you get fleeced on every hole.
Yes.
So they'll have here's a putting contest. No, wait a minute. Here's a hole-in-one contest. No, here's I was at one a few weeks, hit the marshmallow farther contest. There's all kinds of things. And it's $5 here and $10 here. And it all goes to the organization.
To the cause, yeah.
And everybody knows it.
Nice.
You put $100 in your pocket when you go out the door and it's gone. And and they have baskets and drawings and all these kinds of things. But
where's it going to be?
Yeah.
Lakeshore Country Club.
Oh, okay.
In Lakeshore.
Familiar with that.
Lakeshore Road, Cicero.
Great course.
We have a $10,000 hole-in-one. So if we got somebody that can potentially carry that, they're going to walk away with $10,000 on a hole-in-one if that's
good. Yeah.
So
Steve, I'm surprised you're not jumping on that.
Well, I've never made a hole-in-one. Thanks for rubbing it in. And I have friends that have had several of them. I've hit the pin. I've gotten close, but never put it in. But it's always fun because you get up on the hole one and everybody's like watching and there's all this pressure that's not real because your chances of hitting it are 1 in a gazillion.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And everybody talks about what they're going to do with the money or the car or whatever.
Exactly. I got to tell you, 2 weeks ago, a gentleman at Lakeshore hit a hole-in-one on the hole that we're putting this $10,000 winners.
What hole?
It is.
What hole is it on?
I believe 8.
Okay.
7 or 8.
Okay.
150 something yards.
Oh, I know the hole. Okay.
Wow.
So, I know the hole.
Yeah. So.
All right, I'll have to do that. So people can still, how would they register for this if they wanted to get involved?
So you can go on www.coramdeoministries.com and it'll send you to a link and there's, it'll bring you right to the event. You can sign up for a sponsorship or the foursome or an individual golf round.
Are you taking freebies that they can auction off or gifts and things like that?
I just had a guy donate from Campfire Cruisers. Wayne Dupree donated a brand new golf cart for me.
Oh, we had him on the air.
$100 will get you a chance to win an $8,500 2025 brand new electric golf cart. So,
he makes some really cool golf carts and things.
Such a good guy.
So Coram, Coram Deo Ministries, .com, so they can go on and see the information all on that
Absolutely,
site.
absolutely.
And if people want to get involved, I'm sure they can get involved through the website as well, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of join you in fellowship.
And if people wanted to go on mission trips, should they talk to you about that?
The same, communicate with me, and I'm always open to take people on mission trips.
All right, that's Joe Silvani right there. He's a COO and the missionary for the Coram Deo Ministries. Thank you so much for what you do and all your people do, okay, man?
Thank you all. Thank you all.
All right. Liz Casanda is coming up next. Crisanda. She is the executive director of the ALS Association. I think she got upgraded, Steve, as a matter of fact. She's got a bigger title now.
Very important.
She's territory executive of the ALS Association Northeast Territory. That's coming up next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back on the road again with Tom and Steve. This is The Local Show. For those of you keeping up with things, we're happy to have you along as we roll through the summer. Hard to believe that we're in August already and we're talking New York State Fair.
You know, Tom, the older you get, the more the time flies by. I remember when your parents were like, when you get old, just like, boom, years go by.
Right.
And we were like, oh, yeah, it's fine. When you're a kid, like, years were long, summer and the whole thing.
Yes.
A year of school. Now it's like, oh my gosh. And I blame COVID because we lost a couple years there in the shuffle, and it seems like things kind of accelerated.
Yeah, right. And then COVID kind of in the rearview mirror until you hear stories like this one that I'm going to tell you.
Oh, no.
My father-in-law goes over to Ireland, where he's from, and he goes over with his sisters. He's got a couple of older sisters who are in poor health, but they're in their upper 80s, and actually one's in her middle 90s. And went over to visit, and they go to a place called Kerry, and they go from Kerry back to Dublin, and everybody he's traveling with gets COVID. I'm like, I didn't even know it was a thing. And all of a sudden they have COVID, and he's going to be 80 years old here coming up. And, he fared very well. It was just like a bad cold.
Well, it used to be people said, a whole bunch of people got the flu, and it was just the flu. Or they got the cold, or they got that thing.
Or they got bronchitis. Yeah, whatever's going around. Yes, whatever's going around.
But now we got to, anyway.
Katie bar the doors. But he's no worse for the wear, and he's got COPD and everything, and didn't take a dang thing, and cured right up.
Good for him.
Couple 2-3 days, and they were all bad, and they're all in their 80s. So there you go. That's a positive story about that, I guess. I don't know. But here's the epitome of positivity. You know how we put that together, huh? Liz Crisanda's with us again. She's the territory executive of the ALS Association Northeast Territory. I think, is that an upgraded title?
It is. I used to be the executive director of upstate New York, and so now I'm doing the Northeast states, which is New York and New England and New Jersey.
Did that come with a little bump in pay? Or?
A little bit. And I'm on the road a lot.
In the not-for-profit world, you're there for the money, clearly, right?
Always. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, they give you a big title. A lot of times you hear that, I got this big title, and they reduced my pay.
Yeah, you have a big title, Tom.
Yeah, I got a title, all right.
My son told me he was home, and he goes, Mom, you should go work for for-profit. You would make a whole lot more money. And I'm like, and you've known me how long?
Right. So what is it that you do in your daily life now as this territory executive person?
So I supervise the operations, really the care programs and services of all the, it used to be like the ALS chapters,
yes,
in the Northeast, making sure that all their programs are, high quality and that we're doing what we need to be doing and that we're offering a lot of consistency,
right,
so that what you're getting in one area is comparable to what someone else is, because we really don't want someone's zip code to determine what kind of programs they're getting.
Yeah.
Also, working with the ALS clinics throughout the Northeast. We have different certified centers, and we work in all of those clinics, kind of helping people translate what their doctors are recommending to how they're living at home. It's
interesting, Liz, when I speak to people about ALS, how many people don't know what ALS is? They'll say, what is ALS exactly? And if I say Lou Gehrig's disease, then they say, oh, yeah, I kind of know what that is. Why don't you explain to people what the disease is?
So ALS is a neurodegenerative disorder. Mm-hmm. It's in the same kind of categories of disorders like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, those kinds of diseases. But what it is actually is the nerves that transmit the impulses from your brain to your muscles. That nerve dies, and so that impulse isn't getting to your body parts, which is why people with ALS will lose the ability to move, usually first like in their fingers and toes, and then it works its way up into their bodies.
Yeah, that's very interesting. A lot of people might say, well, what causes it? Is it a genetic thing or is it from trauma? And what have they found out so far?
Well, there are different kinds of ALS. So there is there's a familial kind of ALS, there are a few gene mutations that we have identified that we know cause ALS, and those would be the ones that run in people's families.
Yeah.
And people know it runs in their families because it is rife in their families going back generations. That's only about 10%. The rest of ALS is what we call sporadic, which is caused some we think by genetic mutations, which are spontaneous mutations, and also the research is really looking at what are the environmental factors. So do you have a genetic predisposition and then environmental trigger that will cause ALS to start?
And then once it starts, as of right now, any ways to reverse it, slow it down, or get rid of it completely?
Right now, it is still a 100% fatal disease. Most people live 2 to 5 years after their diagnosis. One of the things we are working on with the clinics is to identify ALS earlier. It's not uncommon for people to go a year and a half, either not having a diagnosis or being misdiagnosed with something else, a pinched nerve, carpal tunnel syndrome,
Right.
Something like that. There are a couple of drugs on the market right now that are new since 2017 that slow the progression of ALS. It does not stop it. There's a new drug on the market. It's called tofersen, which is for one particular genetic mutation that we're seeing a lot of progress with. Right now we have 12 drugs that are in late-stage clinical trials, so there's a lot coming.
And they're to slow it, not heal it.
Not cure, at this point, not cure, but to slow.
And you went to a big conference you were talking about going to Texas. What did you learn down there?
So there was an ALS Nexus conference where we brought together all the different ALS organizations under one roof and really talking about what's going on, and then also researchers. And again, there's a lot of drug trials that are ending the trial. And for people to keep in mind, like the ALS, the Ice Bucket Challenge was only 10 years ago. And so we're now starting to see the fruits of all of that investment. And then there's a lot of technology. One thing I wanted to point out, because it's happening, there's research happening in New York State, is people might have heard about a brain implant. There's actually a brain implant that it's like a stent that goes into the vein in people's brains.
Yeah.
And they are able to control voice-generating devices, wheelchairs with their thoughts.
Oh, is this the Elon Musk stuff?
It's very similar to what Elon Musk is doing. There's a company called Synchron that's doing work in New York City and also in Buffalo. We have 2 patients that are in that trial.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. So tell us about the SOC event coming up.
So on Thursday, August 15th, we are doing our 3rd annual CEO SOC in downtown Syracuse. It's where we bring together community leaders, and it's a fundraising event. Right now, our goal is $50,000. We're going to blow that out of the water this year.
Good.
But we put people, it's in the fountain, and they actually go into the Syracuse fountain and get soaked. It's our take kind of on the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
Our chair this year is Joe Lamperius out of from Chase Design.
Okay.
Our county executive is going to be joining us.
Very nice.
Dr. Corona from Upstate Hospital is going to be going into the fountain. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah. Now, what fountain is this?
It's in Clinton Square.
Clinton Square,
Oh,
okay.
come on, the big fountain in Clinton Square, where everything is.
But every time, Tom goes down there and tries to wade in the water, they kick him out. So
the city is actually great. They actually drain the fountain the night before, so we have clean water.
Very nice. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So at that event, people can donate to it, or how does people engage?
So we have a lot of executives, and they've been doing fundraising on their to bring it. But you can actually donate to it. You can go online, and I'll give you the link. It is www.als.org/CEO Syracuse. So it's easy to find, and you can just donate directly to the event.
Do you have to be a CEO, or
You do not. You do not. You can come on down and join us, and it's a way for us to bring together really our business leaders, our community leaders, and get them involved.
Yeah, well, there sounds to be a lot of progress being made. Hopefully, technology will help out in that rush. But anyway, we can help out. We'd like to, and everyone else can by going to als.org. And do they have to type in Syracuse as well?
Actually, they don't. It's geolocated, so from your computer, it'll bring you right to New York State.
Perfect. Liz Crisanda right there. She's the Territory Executive of the ALS Association Northeast Territory. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
You got it. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Mike Intagliata. He is the Executive Director of the Landmark Theater. We'll find out what's going on over there, what they got going for the rest of the year and into the fall. Right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Here we go, back again with Steve and Tom and The Local Show. Thank you for joining us. We're so happy to be around and to be seen and not shown.
That is good, because
that's all good.
It's a great thing.
Yeah. My tree, that had an unfortunate incident happen to it. It's got the fungus.
The dead tree?
Yeah, it's mostly dead. And they put the panels back on it, according to Bartlett. And come springtime, I should start to see my blooms again and green leaves and all that type of stuff. It does
look dead.
It does. And it's, it's kind of like, sometimes it freaks me out a little bit because I'm used to seeing the tree look like that when it's fall. And I don't want it to be fall.
But you know what? But with that tree looking mostly dead, all your other landscaping really pops
out.
It doesn't hide all the
little
things,
contrast.
Your little rubber stone walk and all those things kind of pop right out.
Yeah, so it's all good. And the other mounds look decent. So tell us all about Safe Harbor Wills and Trust, because we haven't talked about them in a little bit here.
Well, Safe Harbor Wills and Trust, if you haven't updated your stuff, don't let the state do what the state does.
Right.
When that time comes. Make a plan. If you got to update your will, that's a simple thing. But sometimes people think, I don't need a trust. I don't have $1 zillion. If you want to protect your house, you probably should put it in a trust. Because, Tom, you and I, 2 out of 3 people spend time in a nursing home.
Yes, right.
And not me and not you, but I don't know who. Yeah. But at $20,000 a month or whatever it is, so you lose things. So give them a call, 370-9977, and just have a conversation. They don't charge you to talk to them. 370-9977. Or go on safeharborwillsandtrust.com. You can fill out the little form and they'll answer your questions.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for that. Mike Intagliata is joining us again. He's the executive director of the Landmark Theater. How are you, Mike?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's good to have you again, and we think the Landmark Theater is a real jewel in our community. You guys do an awful lot of stuff, from events to having shows to, doing just a little bit of everything.
And how about that marquee? Is that thing stunning?
Yeah, the marquee's nice.
When it's lit up.
We're really proud of it.
You should be.
It's ending up on license plates. Visit Syracuse put it on their poster for the eclipse. It's just
nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really nice to have something that's a kind of a real symbol for our region.
What if we did the local show from the Landmark Theater on the stage, and they put our name up in the marquee? So we could finally get our names in the marquee.
I'd be happy to do it.
That'd be kind of fun.
Sure.
I mean, well, it's 2 hours of show, and it's 8 local businesses, and they can't get any more local, right, than being right down there in the thick of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do it in the lobby.
Yeah.
So
we can do it there too, and I'll play music in between.
That wouldn't be bad. The place is stunning. If anybody hasn't been to a show there. Oh my gosh,
it's the place.
When was it, Bill? How old is that place?
1928, February 18, 1928, we opened.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the Lowe's, of course.
Right, of course.
Right. Were the expensive seats that have fancy names that were the king sits? Were those real seats?
No. So the opera boxes.
The opera boxes.
But those are fake. Okay. Those were meant to mask the pipe organ pipes.
Oh, okay.
Over on audience left.
Do you still have a pipe organ there?
No, that was along with a lot of the other assets that Lowe's had that was sold off back in the 70s.
Gotcha. Now, how long have you been with the organization?
It's going to be 9 years in October.
Fantastic. Do you have an acting background?
I do, actually. I did some theater in college, and I went on to do some comedy in New York before moving back here.
Right.
Well, say something funny.
For a clownfish, he's not very funny. So, what made you want to do this type of work? I mean, did you go to college for this, or?
No. I actually studied psychology, but my real passion was theater. Mm-hmm. So when I went down to New York, I took a lot of management jobs, managed Starbucks, at Jamba Juice, things like that.
Right.
While doing my comedy, because I like to eat, among other things.
Yes, right.
So
to make a little money.
When I realized that I could move back to Syracuse and not pay $1,800 a month in rent, back then, I found myself, applying my management skills in the arts, first for the Red House, and then for CNY Arts, the Regional Arts Council, and then eventually the Landmark.
Very nice. So what kind of events come to the Landmark Theater?
Our primary business is touring Broadway productions, and then touring concerts, stand-up comedy, occasionally film, but family shows are a big thing for us. Mm-hmm. Paw Patrol, we've got Disney Junior Live coming up.
Very nice.
Those are our real bread and butter touring shows. We can knock those out all week long.
How many people does it seat?
2,754.
That's
a lot of people. Is that one of the bigger venues then?
So,
who else would?
There's a couple of theaters that are a little bit bigger. The Stanley's actually a little bit bigger than us.
Is it really?
Yeah, but it's so funny. We'll attend the League of Historic American Theaters holds conferences, and we kind of go by venue size, like who's got 200 seats, 500 seats,
right?
And dotted along the thruway, we're all 2,000 seats plus, because the Erie Canal ran down the thruway.
Right. Oh,
okay.
Yes.
And so it's the major cities, Philadelphia, Boston, that have these huge historic theaters, and then Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, Albany, Schenectady.
Yeah.
We're all 2,500 seats plus.
During the summer, I would imagine you have a lot of private events.
That's when we tend to do our weddings, graduation ceremonies. We just hosted the Northeast Jazz and Wine Festival. The tours don't come through in the summer because they all want to be outside.
They're smart.
Yeah, the Broadway tours are usually actually in the South during the summer, because that's when everyone wants to be inside. So it's the reverse of here.
Yeah.
So we're usually like October to May. A few smattering events in June and September, but usually
So starting with the blockbusters and then working your way down to the lesser known things, what do you got coming up?
So this fall, the biggest shows that we have are definitely the Broadway shows. We have Lion King and Les Miserables. Lion King in December, Les Mis in October.
And who will that be performed by?
It's the National Touring Productions, so Disney Theatricals in the case of the Lion King. And so it's Broadway quality product, and it comes right down here to Syracuse.
Beautiful.
And it's really wonderful. You can buy a season's worth of Broadway shows for the price of a single, going down to see one show on Broadway, right? Because by the time you travel, hotel, dinner down in New York, you can get an entire season worth of entertainment here.
I know there's a show, Tom, down there when you go by and all the trucks are lined up.
Yeah.
And you go by the backside and you see all the big tractor trailers. And I'm saying, what's here? And you can tell it's whatever it is massive.
Yeah. I mean, even a small Broadway show is usually 3 or 4 trucks. A show like Les Mis and The Lion King, I think Les Mis it's definitely more than 10 trucks, and I believe Lion King is more than 20.
And you've had Les Mis here before, right?
Both of these shows have been here before, but these are evergreen, extraordinarily popular shows.
Okay, so those are some big blockbusters. Any major concerts coming?
Let's see, we've got Teddy Swims. That's a big one. That concert is nearly sold out. I don't think we have any tickets available right now, but we will open some up as it approaches. We've got Quinn 92. We have, who else is doing concerts? The Front Bottoms, Sammy Ray and the Friends. And I believe that's all we have announced in terms for concerts.
Okay,
right now.
are they kind of all over genres? I don't know those particular bands.
The presenters and promoters we work with always try to make sure that we have something for everyone. So some of them are really a lot for like the younger generation.
Yeah.
Teddy Swims is a very contemporary, kind of a streaming sensation right now.
Understood.
And then we've got Neil deGrasse Tyson will be here in October.
Good.
And as I said, Disney Junior Live. We have a Nutcracker coming up in November.
Beautiful.
Boy, I hope I didn't forget anything. Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're showing an anime along with a live orchestra. That'll be in late August.
Well, that's nice. I'm glad you're bringing some live music in there.
You a Nutcracker guy, Tom?
Well, yes, of course I am.
Yeah, I'm not. I just
I love it all. I love all the arts.
It was a little too slow for me, but that's okay.
I celebrate everything, theater and fun and all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much, Mike. Mike Intagliata right there, Executive Director of the Landmark Theater, landmarktheater.org. And you have a great rest of the day.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Joe Bolognone or Joe Bologna coming up next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back again and back into it. You've got the local show with Tom and Steve. Welcome in. We love to have you, and we like exposing you to a lot of new businesses around town, and even old ones, and some civic organizations, so you really get to know Syracuse, because, well, the landscape's changing. They have road work everywhere and new businesses popping in. And
they're changing the exit numbers.
Yeah, they're changing exit numbers.
So on 81, they just started to do it down at Cortland, and it's not like off by one. It was like exit 12 is now exit 75 or some crazy
Just
thing.
what we needed as we're aging and we're already forgetting things and not knowing what's going on.
Well, I like the states. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I like the exit being the mile marker, because then you have some correlation.
Right.
You know, you go, if it's 10 miles, it's 10x. You know, you can figure it out. But, But I don't know. But I have another problem, Tom.
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
My Labrador, which we somewhat inherited from my son, is scared to swim.
Oh, really?
And I know you're scared of everything. Do you have any counseling for him that you could how to get over his...
You know, I should have never told you that I feared bridges. I've been over lots of bridges, and I've flown on planes. I don't like doing that, but I'm not scared.
I've danced and used a hairbrush, but I don't do that now, Tom.
I can't imagine that.
That's a risky life.
I thought Labs like to swim.
He likes to play in the water, but he just is afraid to go for the swim.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking I don't know how to give him drama to drag him out there, but should I?
Yeah, there's ways to do that.
Just throw him in?
Yes. Okay. Take your boat out into the channel, throw him in. He'll swim.
Yeah, that's my theory.
Yeah, that's the way I was raised.
Okay. That's a question for you.
It's a deal.
Did you say that there are mile markers and numbers on exit signs?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Who knew that?
Yeah,
I never looked at
I just
that.
drive. I never
didn't
knew
know that.
What's the other guy talking, Tom?
Joe Bolignone is with us. He's the founder of Mission Syracuse, and it's good to have you along, buddy.
Tommy, it's great to be here. Thanks, Steve.
Yes. So now explain to people who you are and why you founded Mission Syracuse and what your full-time business is, too.
Well, first I have to brag that I got through with my own note card and Steve didn't steal it from me.
Well, it's good to have some notes.
He just took it. Oh, my gosh, he took my note. But you know what? I have another one.
That's good. See how you do that.
Glad to try.
He's smart. Yeah, smart.
No, I don't know. I'll try not to read it. I'd love to read it, but of course you can't do that.
Well, you're a natural talker anyway. We only do that because some people, they'll just sit and read.
Yeah, I can talk. It's just the content is what I'm worried about.
So tell people what Mission Syracuse. Answer the man's question.
The man's question is, yes.
You got a full-time business, first off. So
Coffee
what do you do?
King, coffee with a K.
King,
yeah, it's a family business. We do refreshment services, coffee services, ice makers, micro markets, vending machines, catering. It's wonderful. My family, we have 16 people working there, and a third of them are related to me.
That's good.
So they either call me dad or boss or, whatever. But it's just a great, God's blessed.
Or Don.
Yeah. What do they call the Godfather?
Dom Joe Bolignone.
Yeah. I go, hey, we're going to make you a nice offer. So it's a wonderful thing. It's been my pulpit, if you will, for sharing the gospel, because that's what I'm all about. I just want to tell people that how Jesus changed my life.
Yeah.
And so they invite you in, and you get to talk with them personally. And this happened this is my 49th year.
Good golly.
Good Lord, I know.
Yeah,
so if you stay in business for a while that long, God's blessing is on you. It's a tough thing.
Absolutely.
Mission Syracuse, though, it's a coalition. It's a network of churches and ministries. And I was a professional musician. Did you know that before?
I did.
And that life doesn't end well with people. A lot of my friends, they did not end up in a good way.
Sometimes,
The Lord got a hold of my life, and I got a regular day job. I took my music into church, which is fun. But you know what, Steve, you probably know this. You're singing to the choir.
Right.
It's like, okay, they already know the message, and it got a little old, and I just wanted to take the walls off the church and bring the message outside of church.
Yeah.
So, of course, Mission Syracuse now has a store. It looks like a gift shop, but it's a place where people walk into at Destiny. Mm-hmm. And so far, I've recorded 50 people giving their lives to Christ there, and hundreds have been prayed for. I have a weekly Bible study there, and people somebody wandered in last night while we were having a rehearsal, and just got to engage them in conversation. So we're bringing the church to where the people are. And I just got tired of waiting in church for someone to walk in and say, I need you to help me.
Yeah.
They're just not doing it. So you got to go where the fish are if you're going to go fishing. And I got to tell you, I did a radio interview with the Mets in the broadcast booth. And the guy said, we're going to interview Joe now, and go ahead, Joe, tell us why you're here. I said, well, this is a network of, coalition of people share the gospel. Hold on a second, there's a long fly ball, and he's in the warning track. He interrupted me.
In between the game?
During second inning.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'm going to do it again next week. And then second time, okay, Joe, tell us more what you're doing. I said, well, we believe the Lord has a message. Hey, you got a second. Here comes Herrera. I'm going to be getting like 10. So finally he goes, okay, Joe, tell us why you're here. I said, well, okay, 4 out of 5 people don't go to church, so we had to bring church to you. Thanks for having us. That's that, that's the snippet.
Yeah.
But that's truly, we just want to bring the gospel to where people are, because there's Tommy, they're broken, and there's needing hope.
Yes.
And when you know the Lord, you have hope and you have joy. And they look at you and they go, what's going on? And I go, can I talk with you?
Yeah.
And so we put that. Now I take my music, Steve, and then we got this killer band. I've got the best musicians around. I just, because I just did some recruiting. And we're playing a secular set. Tommy, we play a Chicago Huey Lewis set.
Oh, wow, that's great.
We're rocking it. I'm telling you, it's the best music I've done in years.
Where are you doing that?
At the ballpark, at the stadium. And then, of course, we bring on the good stuff with the message. So I call it sanctified bait. Anyway, we're doing it at the ballpark. We're doing it tomorrow night at Friday night.
Yeah.
No, wait, this last night. We're doing it soon.
Yeah.
I'll give you the dates here. In Rochester, the Rochester Red Wings Stadium in Inspiration Field. They call the Syracuse Mets because they wanted to have a faith and family night. And the Mets said, okay, give Joe a call, because Joe and Ken, my right-hand man.
Right, yeah.
Because we do it there. And so now we're doing one in Rochester and we're doing one in Syracuse, both weekends. So.
Do you have any big stars coming in to testify or give his testament?
Big star. Mookie Wilson was with the 86 Mets, World Series Mets. Last year we had Darryl Strawberry from the Mets. So Mookie will be back again this year. But in Rochester, this is their first kickoff, so they don't really know what to do or who to. So it's kind of like our first chance that we're going to hand out the Book of Hope, do Christian music, have an invocation of prayer, and some, hopefully that'll be enough to wet their whistle. Got a nice commercial on the billboard that we put together.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't have Steve doing something crazy like dressing up or.
Yeah,
we were talking about that.
Yeah, I'm going to
sharing his story.
Hit golf balls.
Yeah. Can you dress in the mooch outfit? Maybe put the little thing on. No one will know it's you.
I do a good sky dancer. I stand up and I bend over like this,
Yeah.
And you do the hairbrush thing. I heard you say that. Yeah. That's impressive.
Incredible.
So day by day over at the mall, what happens?
People wander in. Truly, it's like a gift shop. Our friends at Sacred Melody, they finally closed that store after 55 years. And they said, you know what, would you guys like to, they're passed the baton to us. So it's a Christian gift and bookstore, but there's a place behind there where people can meet. Churches use it. The Gideons have used it, different groups, for prayer meetings, Bible studies. And they wander in and we engage them in conversation. And there's thousands of people that go there every week. And every day it's a divine. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe it. I was there last night again. Somebody just wandered in. It happens every night. So the Lord, I call them divine appointments. So I teach my people at the Bible study, package your testimony in 90 seconds, know your 4 spiritual laws, know the prayer, know how to get them plugged in, and then we got a list of pastors that we plugged them into churches. One fella walked in one day. I said, how are you doing? And he said, kind of hurt, and I lost my mom, and he went through some stuff. And, an hour later, he gave his life to Christ. 2 weeks later, and comes in with his girlfriend, same conversation. She gives her life to Christ. I call my pastor over at the Christ Community Church. I said, Pastor Jeff, it's your turn. That's like those, those deep sea fishing shows. We'll catch them, you can them. Yeah. So here you go. I got another one. And he planted them in a church. They're getting baptized and they're growing like weeds. So that happens because we just went fishing.
So if someone wanted to have a conversation about connecting with God, they could wander into the...
Wander in. Our people are trained to talk with them, pray with them, encourage them. Just
Where is it in the mall exactly?
Second floor, Macy's Wing, Destiny USA.
Is that near the chocolate? Is the ice cream place? Where is it?
Auntie Anne's and Cold
Stone. That was the thing.
Yeah,
and Gertrude Chalk is right next door. And I use that. I use that to keep the volunteers happy. I walk in with chocolate all the time.
And the sugar high.
Well, you do a wonderful job, and your faith definitely shows through your personality. Joe Bolignone right there, founder of Mission Syracuse. Thank you so much for being here.
Tommy, thank you. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Sean Patney. He's the owner of Preferred Powersports. George Powers stops by, owner of Powers Accounting. Rick Rarick is the board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm from Onondaga Grown. And then finally, we'll talk with Aaron Look of Glass Doctor. He is the owner of Glass Doctor. Stick around. Hour number 2 starts really soon.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for riveting interviews with Sean Patney, owner of Preferred Powersports, George Powers, owner of Powers Accounting, Rick Rarick is the board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm, part of Onondaga Grown, and finally we'll talk with Aaron Look, who is the owner of Glass Doctor right here in Syracuse. Right now we say a hearty, healthy good afternoon to Sean Patney, owner of Preferred Powersports. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Very good, my friend. Very good. So times are a-changing. You know, you probably, your business goes along with the seasons, right?
Always trying to recalibrate, yeah.
Yeah, that's something
How
else.
far ahead do you have to think? Because they put out Halloween candy. I just think that's a little early.
How far ahead do I have to think, or do I make all my employees think?
Yeah. Well, we're in August now, so really you got August, September, and then people are hunting and
we're rolling into ATV and off-road side-by-side season now, and it's just recalibrate from the watercraft and the boats that we did all summer, spring and summer. And so we're transitioning into that. Just an interesting time.
Yeah. Any of the four-wheelers or side-by-sides, do they go on the road at all, or are they all off-road?
No, everything's off-road. I mean, you'll see some that are on the road and registered in different states, but it's a complicated process, and we don't get too involved in that.
Gotcha. So how has the summer been going? How did your watercraft move out and things like that?
Really good. I mean, we saw a little bit of a slowdown this year in sales, obviously, with just the weather changes going on, but we sold more than we thought we were gonna. So we were happy there. And we got a lot of people out on the water this year. I mean, we got a lot of people out on the water. A lot of new people too.
What has been the most popular motorcycle this year?
Motorcycle, it's been smaller bikes. There hasn't been one particular model, but we do real well with the smaller Kawasaki and Yamahas, of course. The price points are just amazing on them, and you can get out there and ride for pretty reasonable price, and they're super inexpensive to run. So when you get into that 500, 650, 700 class motorcycle, just amazing.
Is a louder bike safer?
You've heard that a lot of times.
I just thought of that because one went screaming by me on 41. I was going home the other night, and the guy was highly illegally speeding. But he went, and it wasn't. I didn't hear it coming. And some of the bikes you hear coming, did not hear this thing coming.
I don't have a lot of theories on loud bikes. I think just the riding style is the real issue.
Right. In fairness,
let's face it, we're all in our own little world when we're driving right now, and so everybody's got to pay a little bit more attention. And that's drivers, that's motorcyclists, everybody. Yeah, we all get along just fine.
I'm not sure the motorcycle was going too fast. It might have been Steve doing 30.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it.
I'm right lane on 41 North. Okay.
At 35 miles.
I make sure my signaler's off, though. I don't want to.
Great. That guy.
Let's tell our listeners exactly what Preferred Powersports is. How long ago did you start the business?
We've been doing this for 22 years now. We're coming up on our 22nd year. Yep.
That's wonderful. And approximately how much inventory do you carry regularly? I mean, I know it goes up and down.
Oh yeah, it varies. I mean, we came in the spring with 500 plus units, but we're probably 300 units now. We're really starting to stock up again with ATVs and side by sides. We just bought a pile of ATVs from Polaris, so we had some. There were some 24s. So it was a good buy, right? There were some 24s before they released the 25s. They got big rebates on them, and they asked us if we wanted some, and kind of the proverbial truckload sale kind of thing. And that's actually what it is. So we're excited about that.
So if someone wants a four-wheeler Polaris, good timing?
Yeah, great timing. I think 30 may be in stock right now, another 25 to 30 on the way in. So if there's something that you want, Polaris ATV, we were able to get a little aggressive on the pricing because we're able to buy so many of them and just tell people, come on in, see what we've got. Get your name on one, take one home, grab one of the ones that's coming in a few days. We'll make it happen for you.
Pretty easy financing?
Yeah, I mean, financing is always subject to, people's credit scores and payment history.
Those things are related.
Yeah, they are related. It's very hard to separate those two things. But we got some great options for financing, and sometimes the manufacturers have amazing financing, and sometimes our local banks and credit unions are just way better. We'll shop at whatever's the best way to do it for the customer.
Much difference between the 24s and 25 models?
And so they haven't really released all the information on the 25s yet based on what we're seeing. Yeah, there's going to be some cosmetic changes, but fundamentally, the Polaris, in particular the Polaris, they're great machines. The ride quality is astonishing, and you can get on one of those and just ride all day. And so if we can save you a couple grand over a 25, it's probably worth doing. So
now you have to trailer those because they're not on the road.
Unless
so
you got some big property, sure.
Yeah. Do you have trailers as well? Or?
Oh yeah, tons of trailers.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is, most ATVs will fit in the back of a pickup truck, and we've got ramps and stuff like that. Right. So if it's just one person, a lot of times a pickup truck's easier. You're carrying a couple machines, we'll do trailers, and a lot of people repurpose trailers for a lot of different things. So
how is your used inventory? How far back do you go?
So used inventory varies. I mean, it really depends on what the trade-in situation looks like at the time. We don't normally have a ton of trade-in models. They tend to come in and go out pretty quick. So we encourage people, if you know you're looking for something in particular, come in, talk to one of the sales guys, any one of the guys, and just let them know what you're looking for. And we'll keep an eye out, whether it's a trade-in or whether it's something that we can actually buy through one of the group sales or something. We'll find you something.
So if I'm looking for a new side-by-side or four-wheeler, and I order now a new one, can I get it this year?
If you're ordering a new one, it's interesting because we don't always have the opportunity to order specific models. They allocate it in blocks.
Based on what?
Oh, well, I mean, particularly Honda and Yamaha have limited availability on certain models, so we don't know when we're going to get an allocation. I know people get frustrated because they say, "I want to order this Honda, Pioneer, whatever, in blue,
in a certain color."
You're like, "Okay, great. I don't know when that's going to pop up on my computer as available."
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah, and we wish it did.
Interesting.
So sometimes I go online and you have tons of great reviews. And then there's always the weird odd ones, right?
Yeah. Those are frustrating.
They've got to be frustrating because I know you're passionate about service. You're passionate about the business and doing it right and making it right. And that's got to be like, okay. I mean, you've got 4 or 5 stars. I mean, you got high ratings here. And there's always that little odd one that's like, you didn't answer the phone at night. Well, I wasn't there.
We're busy. I mean, I think what it boils down to is we are super, super busy. I mean, we have customers waiting for service appointments, and it's frustrating. But with parts availability, with how complicated things have gotten, service takes a while. We've got 5-6 guys back there flat out all the time.
Wow, that's a big service.
Plus the setup guys. I mean, plus the setup guys. And so when we tell somebody, hey, we're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks out for service, we're looking at what type of service you need, who is the right technician, when can we do this, and trying to slot you in at the best time.
Sure.
And it's not always compatible with what the customer needs, but we can't. We have to preserve the integrity of.
I mean, you're the biggest service team around, and you guys are busy, so you're doing stuff right.
Mm-hmm. It's frustrating because when you see a bad review, you're just so disappointed by it. You're so frustrated by it, and you say, what did we do wrong? What did we say wrong? How did we not convey to somebody how busy we are, how much we do care, but we can't put you in front of everybody else. And that's often what the reviews are about.
Sometimes people are just nuts. Can we just say that?
Sometimes they're crazy. Yeah. And sometimes we're just having a terrible day and we blow it. I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean,
but to own that, a lot of people would just cover that up and say, "Oh, we're perfect. Why would we do that?" But I know you're OCD about getting it right.
Yeah, and I am, and we're not going to get it right every time. We service 3,000-4,000 units a year. There's going to be situations where we blow it, or the parts don't work out, or whatever it is, and it's just, we're human. I mean, and my techs are, these guys work really hard, but they're going to make a mistake.
Polaris 4-wheelers, you're stacking them up like cordwood. You got good deals on those right now?
Yeah, there's going to be some good
Preferred Powersports in Cicero, Route 11. Just get off at Cicero, shoot up there a couple miles on the right, and that's where you're at.
We appreciate it. Hope to see everybody.
Right. Thank you, Sean, for being here. Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk with Sean Powers. Yeah, Sean Powers.
Sean Powers. Austin Powers.
George Powers. He's the owner of Powers Accounting, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back at it again. Here we are, The Local Show, the Steve Roberts Variety Show. right here for you.
There we go.
You like
to
that?
sing and dance now too?
I don't do any of those things.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I just sit here and look at Tom.
We're here.
Wonder how he does everything that he does.
Looking longingly at Tom.
Oh,
Yes.
he says that on the air. He doesn't believe that. He believes he's that in a bag of salty potatoes.
Oh yes.
That's fine. Whatever.
You can't have all that starch. It's terrible. You go to places in the summertime, and of course I back off on any types of major carbs, and people love those salt potatoes. And I'm thinking, I can't have that.
I love carbs.
Yeah, right.
So does your beer wash down that salt potatoes?
Well, yes. I'd rather have the beer.
No carbs for Tom.
You have
Just
to,
beer.
You have to count your carbs, and I'd rather have them in the form of beer.
Oh, there you go.
The hops and wheat and barley.
It's just like bread. It's just
Right. It's just liquid.
You
That's
might as well
all.
eat a candy bar. Who we kidding? It's the same thing.
Fun stuff. George Powers has joined us for this part of the show. He is the owner of Powers Accounting, gpowers.com. And you work with lots of businesses, with close to 300, 400 businesses in that zone.
somewhere in that vicinity.
200 to 400 to...
Yeah, somewhere 200 400. That's a good number.
How
Yeah.
many of them would you like to fire right now?
No, that's
Not too many.
true.
Okay.
Not too many.
There are people that circle around every 3 years. You're thinking, where'd they go? And then they want you to do all the catch up and stuff like that, or not too many.
There are some of those, and those are tough, but not too many.
Back in the 80s, there used to be a lot of little mom and pop shops, and on their sign it used to say, I do taxes.
Yes.
Taxes. What makes your business different from those days? And
We do taxes, obviously, but what we try to do is more than that, because a tax return is a historic document. So you want to make sure you dot the I's, cross the T's, do it the correct way with the lowest amount of tax possible. But what is more important is the other side of it. How do you prepare for it? So for businesses, do your tax planning. What do you want to do? How do you want to buy something? What do you want to write off? What are you looking to pay your taxes on? We started doing that with some of our clients already in our mid-year reviews, where we talk to our clients, hey, we've only got 6 months in, but we're 6 months in, so this is where you're looking. Your profit's up, your profit's down. This is where we're projecting your taxes are going to be at the end of the year at this point in time. And then we start talking about it. So after the year is over, there's only a couple things you can do to reduce taxes. Before it's over, there's a lot of things you can do if you're in business. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we take a more proactive approach is, what can we do before the year is over to reduce taxes or to have them be where you want them to be? Because reducing taxes is not always the best thing to do. So for example, if you're looking to get a new loan, so if you want to go to the bank and get a loan, the bank wants to see you make a profit, and making a profit means you're going to pay taxes. So it doesn't always mean paying the lowest amount of taxes. It means doing what is best for your business at that point in time.
when some businesses owe taxes, is that a bad thing? Is it a bad thing to owe some taxes, maybe
No.
skip a year or something like that? Is there strategies?
Oh, there's all kinds of strategies. And owing taxes means you might have made a lot of money. Right. I tell a client he made he owes $1 million in taxes. Guess what?
Yeah.
He made a lot more than
$1 million. Yeah.
So owing taxes is not always a bad thing. And if you want to keep the money and take the money, you're going to have to owe taxes. It's just part of life.
But like, what if you don't pay the taxes and you go a year without paying? And
you mean you owe taxes and don't pay them, or you just don't owe? You just don't owe taxes.
Well, I know that some people will say, "Geez, I didn't pay last year, and now I owe for last year and this coming year."
Well, that's never a good thing. You always want to pay your taxes on each year. Preferably, you want to pay the taxes in the course of the year when you're making the money. Mm-hmm. So if you're making a lot of money now, the idea would be to set it aside. Pay the taxes now. Right. If you're a corporation or a partnership, you might want to elect into what they call PTET, pass-through entity tax. So what you're doing is you're paying your individual income taxes through your company, getting a tax deduction to the company, but then you're paying your individual personal income taxes. So that's an option that can be had for if you've elected in or have to elect into that kind of a tax. So there are strategies that you can use. And we typically want our clients to pay in estimated taxes or take extra withholding out of their paycheck in order to offset the profits of the business. Because when it comes to filing your taxes on April 15th or before, you should know what that number is within reason and prepare for it. So, you've got money set aside. If you haven't paid the taxes, it means you spent all the money in places that were not tax deductible.
Right.
Which is not necessarily a good thing.
But if you didn't pay your taxes and you had a year where it was like, geez, we were short or whatever.
Why were you short?
Is it? Yeah, right.
Now, I can see sometimes, I've seen people that make, $15,000. and they owe some tax.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have enough money to pay the bills, much
Right.
less pay taxes. I feel for
Right.
them. You know, you can get an installment agreement. You can pay it off over time.
Yes.
But you start
Okay.
making reasonable money, you need to set it aside.
Yep.
I mean, I would
That's
love
the
to say
proper
there's
way.
magic
That's the
ways to
proper
do
way.
it, but sometimes you just have to spend less.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about all the things that, you need to have. You know, Tom, you just said you're 60.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm 60. Steve's around 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were kids, there were not as many things available. There was no microwaves.
Yeah. Right.
There
Right.
was, color TVs. Probably not.
No.
Cable,
Not in my house.
no cable. No. Cell phones,
Cell phones,
didn't
no.
exist. There was one telephone. When we grew up, we had one car.
Yeah.
When my mother wanted a car to take us to the doctor or
Yeah,
whatever we
yeah.
needed, we all got up really early, drove my dad to work, and came
yeah.
and came back, and then picked him up at the end of the day. One car. So that was what it was like. So there was less choices. In today's world, we've got so many things we want.
Way too many things.
Yeah.
Did you
and-
drink water from the hose, George? Too?
Oh, I did. I drank water from the hose too. Yeah,
Just checking.
I'm still here. But so I guess my point is, you say you can't pay taxes. Well, what is more important than paying your taxes? What have you put higher on that list? Is it cable?
Yeah,
Is
right.
it going out to eat? Is it beer?
Beer. Yes. Beers.
All right, now beer may take
Definitely
precedence.
up
I'll give you
there.
that.
Some people have like
The top
high
of my
medical
list.
expenses.
The medical expenses.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
You're right. There are situations when a person is just in a tough situation, a bad place. You're right. They've got high medical,
Yeah.
and most of the times medical expenses are not tax deductible. So, can you make payment plans with the IRS? Yes, you can.
Okay.
And there are times when you just can't pay them, and you can be get your taxes in uncollectible. That's not typically what we obviously. Most of our clients are business owners, and we work from a little different standpoint for the most part. But
Right.
there are other options and other choices, and sometimes you can get taxes forgiven if you're in the right place. There's what they call.
What do you have to do? Do you have to cry or?
Well, they don't care about tears, but if you're going to do what they call an offer and compromise, you have to basically be in a place that you can't pay the taxes, and there's really no way they're going to get it. So,
should you ever use those services that say we can get the?
I would not recommend that because
Yeah.
I've seen. I mean, an offer and compromise is a real thing. It's a legitimate thing. I don't do them. I have no moral convictions against them. I just
Right.
don't have the expertise to do offers and compromises. I do know some local people that do them,
Yep.
and if I have a client that wants to or thinks they qualify for them, I refer them over there.
I see.
Because they're local. I know them. I know what they do. I know they do the advertising. We save all.
Yeah, we save right.
Most of the time, what I've seen with those, is you send them $5,000 and you don't hear from them again.
Yeah, that's
And
scary.
nothing really. And people want to. They want to call them up. They owe $3,000 in tax. They want to offer and compromise. It's not worth it.
Right.
Anything anybody should do right now to save money on next year's taxes if they don't have a business?
There's always the retirement planning. Make sure that you keep track of all your expenditures. There's not a lot of things that workaday folks can do to save taxes, other than maybe say retirement money. That's a good way to do it.
Nothing that people have to have their hair on fire about because of the election of whoever wins.
Everybody's going to
Nothing's
have their hair on fire, and every time there's an election change, people get
Yeah.
nervous. And then once you figure out the new rules, you start going again.
Right, but nothing dramatic that
No,
you see.
I don't
You
see
can't
anything.
imagine
one way or the
anything.
other.
Yeah.
We're going to be back to a similar
Just
place.
normal taxes, yeah. All right, well, that's George Powers right there, owner of Powers Accounting, gpowers.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Steve, next up, we're going to talk with Rick Rarick. He is a board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm from Onondaga Grown, and it's going to be right here, that conversation, on the local show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, we're back, and that means that you are too. Happy summertime to you and to my co-host, Steve
Maybe they're not
Roberts.
back. Maybe they just got here.
Yes.
They got in their car, they're running around, they're doing their
That's
thing,
right.
and they're like, who are those two idiots? Oh, it's those guys, the local show.
That's the irony. That's what makes it funny. But now that you've drawn attention to it, it's not funny anymore. It's
I like
just
ruining everything.
It's just weird.
Oh, there we go.
You're just so
You're
weird.
just so weird, Tom.
That's it. We have the pleasure of speaking with someone new to the show. Let's not scare him away, prematurely. His name is Rick Rarick, and he's the board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm, part of Onondaga Grown, which is a big deal around here. If you want to follow along on the website, it's Matthew25farm.com. Matthew25farm.com. Rick, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, it's great to have you here. Anyone who buffers between me and Steve, I'm happy for. So thank you. So, Rick, what is your story? Give us your backstory personally, and then we'll talk about how you got involved with this farm.
Well, I was born and raised right here in Syracuse, New York. Grew up spending time between Lafayette and Pompey.
Beautiful.
Spent my college years down in Maryland, 10 wonderful years on the Eastern Shore.
10 years?
Yes.
Was it because you were brilliant or not so smart?
I was going to school to be a teacher, and then I spent several years down there teaching.
Oh, okay, great.
And then in 2008, my father told me about a church he was opening, and he was interested in starting a school and wanted me to move home to help him start the school.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, when I did move home, he started having some health issues, and the school kind of got put on the back burner.
Yeah.
But during that year, my brother had come up with the idea of the Matthew 25 Farm. Mm-hmm. And the next spring, we were off and running.
Wow.
Running where? What is the Matthew 25 Farm?
The Matthew 25 Farm is a local not-for-profit with the simple goal of providing free, fresh fruits and vegetables to our local families in need and our local food pantries.
How do you get the money to farm then?
It's difficult, to say the least. We write a lot of grants. One recently that we're working on is the Kubota Hometown Proud Grant. We do fundraisers. We just recently, this past weekend, at Sunset Ridge in Marcellus, we had our golf tournament.
Nice.
Which we raised quite a bit of money.
Great place. I just have a DJ company. I played a wedding reception there a few weeks ago, talked with the owners and everything. Great people out there.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic course and fantastic folks out there.
Yeah.
So how big is the farm?
Our farm is 35 acres. We used to have two locations. We used to have one in Lafayette and one in Tully, but unfortunately after the pandemic, we did have to close one of our locations. But yeah, we have 35 acres. We have 2 high tunnels. We have an orchard.
Well, what's a high tunnel?
A high tunnel is a greenhouse on steroids, is how I like to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more.
It allows us to grow earlier in the season and later in the season. So normally if you're a grower in central New York and you're planting your tomatoes, you plant them outside usually in the end of May because you're trying to avoid a frost.
Gotcha.
At the Matthew 25 Farm, we plant our tomatoes and our high tunnels at the end of April.
Nice.
And again,
To extend the growing season.
about 2 months, a month earlier and a month later in the season.
Okay. Is the farm located somewhere between Lafayette and Pompey? Because I didn't know there was anything between Lafayette and Pompey. Are you still in that area?
It's a void.
We are currently, it's called the Hamlet of Vesper, but the mailing address would be Tully, New York.
Okay. Vesper. You know where that is, Tom?
No.
No.
Actually, I don't know if I've seen a sign.
Yeah.
Vesper is one of those wonderful towns. It is a fantastic little, more
Hamlet?
like a hamlet.
Yeah,
Yes, more like a
hamlet,
hamlet. If you blink, you're going to be through it.
It's sort of like Apulia, right?
Yes, very much so. Yep.
So if the Central Food Bank, we've had Lynn High on here several times, would they get food from you?
Absolutely.
What
yes.
kind of food would you provide for them?
The Central New York Food Bank, since that's such a large organization, usually that's going to be apples.
Okay.
When we're doing our daily donations, we're usually giving to not what I would say smaller food pantries, but places like Assumption, places like the Northeast Community Center, the Lafayette Outreach. There are 37 food pantries that we donate to over 5 counties. Our biggest issue is being able to grow enough food to give them to all of those pantries that are in need.
Yeah. How do you employ people?
Well, we have 2...
Or do they volunteer?
Well, we have 2 full-time employees, myself and our farm manager, David Aronson, and then my mother, Elizabeth, is our secretary, and she is part-time. We are based on volunteers, so we're always looking for folks to come out and help at the Matthew 25 Farm. We've had some wonderful volunteers over the years. Probably the best group The boys from Fayetteville Manlius Honor Society made a group called the FM Fresh Meals, and they're one of our weekly groups.
Oh wow! So they come out and pick stuff. Am I making that too simple?
I'd love to say that the only thing that the boys do is pick, but in the springtime we'll ask them to plant, and more recently they actually were weeding, and I was quite proud of them, because if you tell people that they're going to be weeding,
that's tough.
all of a sudden they're busy and they can't come out to the farm.
Yeah, if the poster says weed, maybe that attracts the wrong crowd.
Yeah, right.
Just saying. So where do the apples come from? Are they your apples, or do other farms donate apples? Or tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have our own orchard. It's not very large, but it does produce. We were just actually picking pristine apples today, which is a cross of Honeycrisp and Yellow Transparent.
Ooh, yeah.
And most people wouldn't think that apples would be ready this time of year, but Yellow Transparents are ready at the end of July, early August.
Gotcha.
So a pristine being a cross between a Honeycrisp and a Yellow Transparent, they're ready right now. And we actually picked 4 boxes this morning. But we do partner, I'm glad you asked, with 2 different local orchards currently. Clearview, which is a wholesale orchard. You can't go to Clearview and pick yourselves. But also O'Neill's Orchard in Lafayette, right off of Route 20.
But yeah, great
and
people.
Keith O'Neill has been fantastic, a fantastic friend to the farm, letting us come and glean, pick apples at the end of the season. We'll fill up our pickup truck and then go right out and head out to the food pantries and donate them.
Any animals on the farm, or is this all just plants?
Just our dogs.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, we are a dog-friendly crew.
Yeah.
We don't have any pigs, chickens, or cows at the moment right now on the farm.
Yeah.
If somebody did want to come to the Matthew 25 farm and you're in a weird chance scared of dogs or allergic to dogs, just let us know ahead of time and we can.
Or don't come. You're allergic. You're scared of a dog. Come on, it's a dog. Cat, I understand, because I can't stand cats.
Hey, tell us about the Christian component to this.
Well, Matthew 25:35 says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat."
Okay.
So that is where the vision of the farm came from. When my brother first got this message, he kept telling me that we were going to start this farm together. And to me, it seemed like a pipe dream. And he kept telling me, we're going to start this farm, or we're going to start this farm. And I guess I was doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
And it started as part of our church, Christ Chapel in Vesper, New York. And then, so we started under that umbrella. And then eventually, after a couple of years, we became our own 501c3.
Gotcha. Very nice.
So if people wanted to donate to help feed people locally, they can do that through you?
Absolutely.
So if they go to Matthew 25 Farm, Tom, you ready for that?
Go ahead.
Matthew25farm. It's like .com, not .org, right? It's .com. Is the website. Either one.
Yep.
They can access that, or maybe they have a group or a business or an organization that wants to maybe do 3 hours a week or a month and bring a team down there to help. Are you open for things like that?
Absolutely. We're always looking for more volunteers.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for what you do and all your people do, and what Mom does back there. I'm sure she's, had to be mom and secretary and everything else. All right. Rick Rarick right there, board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm, Matthew25farm.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Aaron Look, owner of Glass Doctors, right here in Syracuse, New York. So we'll talk to him next on The Local Show.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
It's the show you wish would never end, but that I wish ended an hour ago. It's The Local Show with Tom and Steve.
I don't know, Tom. I think people are like, okay, good. I didn't miss anything, or I did miss something. But we get calls every week, or inquiries every week, where people say, who was that you had?
Yeah.
They're looking for someone in there. Now, what was that person? Because we heard somebody, which means that maybe they lost their name or their contact, but they kind of bonded with somebody to solve a problem they have.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about, right?
Which is a good thing.
You got to let people know the businesses that are here locally that are working hard and doing stuff around town. Hey, there's a business for sale. You and I might want to buy the old Barones up by me.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's all out. They're all out.
It's kind of sad to me.
I know it is, because it's been such a heritage place for so long, right?
Right. There's a lot of land there around.
A lot of land, and I'll tell you what, they've been doing great with their bistro. But once again, you have to work it 24/7.
Does it come with the power wires? Can you tap into those? Because they go right across the property.
Funny you said that, because we were out there having a couple of brews with my friend there, Greg, and his wife, and I was looking at the power wires, and I said, if they could just get rid of those and kind of airbrush them out.
I remember golfing out at Rogue's Roost years ago. High school years ago, there was a couple holes there where if you hit it just right,
you could hit the wires.
Power wire came into play, and you get to hit another one, but it just kind of like, and it went whoosh, you make a certain sound. But
well, hey, look, it's Aaron, or Aaron Look. Either way, it's he's the owner of Glass Doctor here in Syracuse. How are you there, Aaron?
Good. How are you?
Very good, my friend. It's been a little while since we've talked with you, and since then, I've seen your trucks like everywhere.
Keep adding more.
Yeah, you've got quite a few. In fact, I was at Delta Sonic, and one was right in front of me. I think I flipped him off because he cut in front. I don't know if that was you.
We got that phone call.
No, not at all. They're fine. But nice looking trucks, and you're out there doing a good job. Tell people what your history is. How did you get into this business? Okay, that's it. No, first question was a doozy.
How did it start? Where'd you come from?
Let me see. What year was it? Right around the year 2000. I worked for a prior glass company, or
another glass company in town.
Company that's no longer in business.
Okay, gotcha.
And
so after you drove them out of business, you decided.
So I worked my way to get them out and started my own business, and here we are.
Yeah.
So why Glass Doctor? Because is it a distributor, franchise? What is Glass Doctor?
Yeah, Glass Doctor is a franchisor, and there's 165 franchisees across the country with several, I forget the exact number of stores, but a couple hundred plus stores.
So here around this territory, what does your territory cover with your Glass Doctor?
We cover central New York, up to Watertown, Baldwinsville, mainly is Fayetteville.
Do you go to Auburn? Do you go to Binghamton?
Yeah, we're borderline Auburn. I mean, our territory covers basically the city of Syracuse and surrounding areas, plus Watertown, but we do travel quite a bit further out.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Is that with, because you do auto glass, but I know you do other stuff. Is that more auto glass?
We do 50% auto glass, 50% flat glass. So flat glass meaning showers, mirrors, tabletops.
So is it because somebody broke something? Let's be honest. Is that what the work is, or is it
not for the showers and things?
Well, it could be.
Yeah, there's a lot of repair work for showers, broken glass in showers, but a lot of new construction showers, which is a luxury item. People spend a lot of money on those.
Yeah, they do.
And they come out nice and look nice. But a lot of other things, or most of the other products we offer are, repair. Somebody had a bad day.
That's fun.
They broke the glass. I know you guys did a piece of glass for my dining room table, my 4x4, which is still there and wonderful because the wood is underneath it. It's easy to clean, and it just fits right on there. And you just custom made that for me, which was terrific. Which was a year or two ago now. It was great.
Yeah.
So do you have to have relationships with builders and subcontractors? Is that
we like to have relationships with everybody?
Right.
Builders, insurance agents, friendly people like you.
He's looking at me, not you, Tom.
So with the insurance agents, you always hear this term steering. Can they steer people toward you? Is that legal? Is it good? Is it a good relationship?
Well, steering is different than recommending.
Okay. So tell me about that.
Yeah, let's define this. What's the difference?
And I don't know the definition. But, steering is basically telling somebody this is where you need to go to have your glass replaced.
Yeah.
In recommending, it'd be no different than a real estate agent recommending 3 different vendors.
I see. Yeah.
Or 4, to make sure that you can pick your own.
So is Glass Doctor high on the list of a lot of people and insurance people?
I would say so. Yeah, we are the best glass company in Central New York.
And why? So give me a couple of the top bullet points that make people say unequivocally they're better than the rest.
We're efficient. We answer the phone.
Oh, okay.
So I can get a local person.
You can get a local person. We answer the first time. We answer every time. We're affordable. We have a done right guarantee.
What is the done right guarantee?
That means just no matter what the problem is, we're going to make it right, and it's a written guarantee. It's too long to discuss now, but
Right.
it's a promise that we're going to do it right.
So if there's any type of, you replace an auto glass and I'm getting just a little trickle of water when the hard rain hits it, you're going to make that right without me having to pay for it.
Yep.
So the auto glass is a big deal. I know there's a national company. I'll say it. It's Safe Light.
Yeah.
They advertise and they're everywhere all the time. So you would compete with them.
Correct, and they're a worthy competitor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their presence is large.
Right.
They're not only nationwide, they're worldwide.
They have a catchy jingle.
Yeah, they have a catchy jingle.
Yeah.
But they're somebody that we can compare ourselves against and become even better.
Okay. All right. So you kind of service the same thing. If someone has a chip in the glass, does it need to be replaced or can it be fixed?
It depends on the size, the placement, but most can be repaired.
Okay. Because all that stuff on the Explorer, Tom, which your wife used to own, that I drive now, there's a lot of stuff attached to the windshield.
Yeah. Cameras, mirrors, heads-up display, sensors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then that has to go with it. But it's complex.
So when it's replaced, all that has to be recalibrated, right?
Some of it, like the cameras, the cameras do. Sometimes the heads-up display. Yeah. But
Now,
there's,
go ahead.
There's high-tech computers we have now to do that. And take some human assistance too. But
you know how to use the computers.
we basically have to realign the cameras to the road.
Yeah. So people who get replacement windows don't necessarily have to do a complete replacement. If they like the look and the aesthetics of their window, you can replace the glass and the glass pack.
Correct. Yep. Insulated glass unit. They become foggy. They break. Moisture, water gets in. They turn rusty. Instead of replacing the entire window, which includes removing siding, a lot of labor, we can just replace the glass unit.
Oh, so replace. Okay, that's interesting because you always think you're right. The siding, the molding, everything has to come on. Right. So if someone breaks a piece of glass, you probably get a lot of calls. I was moving and I broke this thing. So the custom stuff you do every day.
We do every day.
Okay, flat glass for building or bathrooms, and then the auto glass stuff too.
Great.
Home auto business. A lot of commercial work as well.
Okay, and glassdoctor.com, they'll find you. Correct. And I think it's 634-6090.
That's
on the website. Yeah.
That's our website tracking number, so that'll come right to the office.
That'll come to the office. Okay, 634-6090. The website will get the credit, but that's okay.
All right. Hey, Aaron, thank you so much for being in the community. We wish you the best of luck, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
Hey, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show, so you can go off and do what you got to do. Maybe you want to hit the clubs, hit the balls, or
spoken like a non-golfer, Tom.
Swing the clubs and hit the ball.
There we go.
That's what I wanted to say. All right, good job. On behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Make some time to relax and exercise today and every day. Do it with a family member or a friend. It'll clear your mind and it'll be good for your body. The local show's heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.